It's Saturday, and you know what that means. It's a new show, new network, but the same duo you know and love. We are back. I'm Nick Wetosh. This is Josh Frazier, and this is Saturday SmackTalk on the Tired Sports Network. My wife is here in the chat as watching as usual, and we are going to be previewing SummerSlam. But first, we're going to do a little intro to ourselves and what we're going to bring to the Tired Sports Network. Of course, we are live on Facebook, YouTube's, Instagrams, pretty much anywhere and everywhere. And this is going to be a wrestling-based show, podcast, preview, everything you can think of here at the Tired Sports Network. And my co-host, of course, Full Sail alum, just like myself. That's how we met. But this is going to be the quick intro for who we are and the what you can expect here at Saturday Smack Talk. Josh, over to you.
Welcome in, guys. Like Nick said, Full Sail alum. We were in class together, graduated together. I run Lace 'em Up Sports Media, as well as working with the Tired Sports Network. Super glad to be here. We're going to be covering WWE full time, and when the NFL season and college football season starts, we'll also be adding some coverage in for that. So super excited to be part of the Tired Sports Network and cover all three of those big hitters when everything starts rolling. So
absolutely, it is good to be back. Took some time away, the both of us did, with what life brings our way every single day, it seems like. But we are definitely back and ready to rock and roll and partner with the Tired Sports Network and all the great teams and all the great shows there. And this is going to be one of a kind and the first of its kind on the Tired Sports Network. And Saturday Smack Talk said it all. Smack Talk about football and basketball and WNBA, NBA, pretty much anything under the umbrella of the sports world, but primarily WWE first and foremost. And then, of course, as football season comes into fruition, 33 days away to be exact, start rolling and talking and chatting about the Steelers and those Cowboys. But we'll save that for 33 days and kickoff, which is a big game. Cowboys and Eagles, of course. Going to be fantastic. And again, Martina is here. Where can we follow? Of course, Sleeper Sports Media, Tired Sports Network, and Lace 'em Up Sports Media, Facebook, and all that stuff. Beacons, my Beacons is down below. I didn't get a chance to have you send your link tree or Beacons or all your links, or we can add that later. But with that, good intro and who we are, with three people watching. So one on the network there, whoever's watching, Dustin, anyone that's been in the chat and kind of gotten to talk a little bit, let us know who you are and what you're doing here, and sit back and enjoy it, because we have, for the first time ever in the history of WWE, which I do have some other cool notes and facts about SummerSlam. The first ever 2-night SummerSlam. So we're going to go over SummerSlam Saturday and SummerSlam Sunday. We're going to find and give our thoughts on the builds for all the matches, how we think it's going to play out, predictions. We will I'll actually tally. I have paper, I have a pen. We'll tally it and keep track just for fun, and see about wins and losses, and just keep track as we do going forward with the PLEs, of course, starting with SummerSlam, the hottest party of the summer. So Josh, your thoughts on, and this is in no particular order, just straight off of Wikipedia, but according to Wikipedia, we'll say that this is the order. Opening match for SummerSlam Saturday, WWE Women's Championship, Tiffany Stratton versus Queen of the Ring winner Jade Cargill. Your winner, your thoughts on the build, and just all around what you think is going to go down, or any big takes.
Well, I've got to be honest. I'm not super excited about this match, if I'm being honest. I definitely feel like, even though it's a championship match, I feel like it's more of a filler championship match out of all the matches we have for 2 nights of SummerSlam. And I think they haven't really put an emphasis on Tiffany Stratton here lately. The last biggest one was her versus Trish Stratus at Evolution.
Mm-hmm.
But there hasn't been a whole lot of action or involvement in her storyline and improving her title run as the women's champion. And I have a feeling Jade Cargill's going to end up taking it because they've been really pushing Jade to with beating uh, with the whole Naomi storyline and then beating Io Sky and Io Sky's no chump for sure. Multiple time women's champion and to win Queen of the Ring to face Tiffany Stratton. I just have a feeling that Jade Cargill's probably going to take this one. They've let down on Tiffany Stratton's storyline. Her run is coming to an end, I believe.
Absolutely. Yeah. Queen of the Ring, winning Queen of the Ring. Immediately, I was thinking at the time, this was before Naomi cashed in. You mentioned Evolution. And that was where Naomi, of course, cashed in on the Raw Women's title, Io Sky, and the Women's World Championship. And like you said, Tiffany Stratton has kind of gone up and down. I think Tiffy Time has ran its course. She has surpassed 200 days as champion with 7 total defenses, and she won the title on the first SmackDown of the year when she cashed in on Nia. And there were three of her 7 matches were against Nia Jax. The last one being the last woman standing match. She had one with Bayley, and then of course WrestleMania weekend, which was a show stealer, but they kind of dropped the ball after that one against Charlotte Flair, and then the Dream match, you could say, against Trish at Evolution 2. And there was a lot of hype surrounding this one with the uncertainty of Naomi with Money in the Bank. And if she was going to wait, if she was going to do it and cash in on Tiffany, and then we were going to set up their trilogy for the world title at SummerSlam. But then, of course, that would put it, in uncertainty of, well, Naomi just cashed in and they've been building Jade, and it's time for her to be champion, but Naomi just cashed in, don't want to waste it. So I think it ended up being the way to go. They just didn't recover well enough with Tiffany and the rest of her build. They kind of were like, okay, well, we're going to go this way. And then they had nothing else left. And Martinez
Right.
is there. Jade better proceed with caution still. Absolutely. I think what they could be doing, setting up for, we know Crown Jewel is in October in Australia. So they could be setting up for the champion versus champion, since we don't do that at Survivor Series anymore, because it is War Games now. You could have champion versus champion like they did a couple years ago when they did Liv and Liv and Nia, I think it was at the time, and they did like the big stupid giant gold diamond
Yeah.
championship, and the champion
Yeah.
of all champions or whatever. They could be doing that, but I guess time will tell. But yeah, I have Jade taking this one as well, and Tiffy Time has run its course.
Yeah. And while
Sorry,
Tiffy
go ahead.
Time's run its course, like it was a good run.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like for Tiffany Stratton's first run as a champion, I mean, she beat Charlotte Flair, she beat Nia Jax, she beat one of the greatest women's champions of all time, and Trish Stratus. And it was a solid run. When the fans were high on her, they were absolutely on fire. It was as high as it could possibly be. And, it was just unreal. Her music starts and everyone's chanting Tiffy Time, Tiffy Time, Tiffy Time, So good, solid run. If it ends here, I'm happy with her run.
Absolutely.
I think it went about as good as it could go. So,
yeah. And no doubt she'll be back. She has been going for quite some time, cashing in on the first SmackDown of the year. We're well over halfway into the year. You could back her off and let her go away, and then come back, change it up, and get rid of this Sharpay Evans spoiled daddy's girl type thing, and then just let her. I mean, maybe even if she goes away and then comes back with something new and also works on some things that she could improve on, It'll be good for everyone. And then, of course, it changes up the SmackDown Women's Division and runs things through Jade. And then you could have Bianca come back and finally turn heel on Jade. There's so many ways that they could do it, but Tiffy time has run its course. And something else I think will run its course is the partnership with Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul, which is the next match. Randy Orton tag match. Randy Orton and Jelly Roll versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. I do love this duo. Everyone knows I'm not a big Drew fan. But I do like the duo of Logan and Drew, and I don't see this going any further than tonight. Randy Orton and Jelly Roll getting the win, and then Drew either just turning his back and walking away, or Logan loses the match, or isn't there to save it, or whatever, and then Drew, uh, you know, hits Logan with the big kick and that he does and all that. And a Drew McIntyre Logan Paul feud that would be fun, something to hold both of them over as we go into Clash at Paris, and then of course Crown Jewel after that, and so on and so on. But I'm picking RK Roll for this one. Your thoughts on this and your winner?
I'm gonna be honest. I agree. It's a celebrity match, so I don't see Randy Orton and Jelly Roll losing, because then the feud continues, and Jelly Roll's not going to be here long term. He's not going to be able to have a feud longer than Summer Slam. He comes in for the big PLEs, and that's about it. That's really the way it is with just about any celebrity that comes in, spanning all the way back from like the 90s. They have so much going on. They don't have time to sit here and feud for weeks and weeks and weeks and months and months and months. So I think RK Roll is going to take it.
Yes.
And it's going to be, a one and done. They're going to set up the feud either between Drew and Logan, or could be a three-way feud or a triple threat between Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, and Logan Paul, which I would absolutely love to see that come to fruition at some point before the end of the year. So they can go a lot of ways with this. So
yes, absolutely. And the Logan has been doing fantastic work of making us know that Jelly Roll is an outsider and that Logan's not, that he's an actual wrestler, and you can't just come into this and do one or two shows and blah 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 and blah 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 whatever, train 3 days a week and then take to it so quick, unless your name is Logan Paul, which he happens to be. How he went down and said it on SmackDown last night, which was fantastic. But yeah, the Drew and Logan, they could do it, or Logan could step away as he does, and then wait until he comes back for the next big one. Probably going to be involved in Crown Jewel, going to Australia. Probably going to go to Paris, I would assume. But they could do, like you said, the three-way feud. Randy and Drew still going at each other, and then throw in Logan in there. That is, I'm excited for it, just to see how Jelly Roll does. We've seen him in the quick, not letting it develop. But he apparently has been training really hard, living in Orlando at the Performance Center, training there on daily. And he's also said that this is the reason why he's lost all the weight that he's lost, was because last year at SummerSlam, or 2 years ago, the one in Cleveland, I think it was last year. He had so much fun and wanted to do a match and have a match, but he knew that he needed to lose weight, and he's under 300 pounds for the first time in X amount of years, and whatever he's said on that one. But yeah, Logan, always a star, and is showing that he can work with anyone. And he's taken to it so quick, and hopefully Jelly Roll is the same way. But Drew and Logan has been a great duo that I didn't know that I needed.
Yeah, for sure. They're both great heels, and they just seem to mesh perfectly together. Their personalities are just it's like a a brunette and a blonde version of the same person. So
absolutely.
Yeah, it works so well together.
You could say that Jelly is on a roll.
Nice.
That's my wife, ladies and gentlemen. That's my wife. Speaking of teams that we didn't know that we needed, the next one, WWE Women's Tag Team Championship, Judgment Day, Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez against Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, the allies of convenience. They have merch that states clear as day they are not friends. And as we saw last night on SmackDown, Alexa Bliss pointed out that Charlotte doesn't like it when we use the F word, meaning friends. And Charlotte said, "How about we see what happens on Saturday, and then we put a label on it?" So I could see this going either way. The Judgment Day retaining and continuing the Judgment Day having all the gold. I could also see Liv Morgan returning and costing them the titles, turning on them because they replaced her. And then Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair becoming tag team champions and furthering this dynamic that they have. So I could see it going a bunch of different ways. It sucks that Liv Morgan isn't on the card and they had to kind of pivot with Judgment Day having the titles and everything, being that she's from New Jersey. So I think that's why she could potentially return. Who knows where she's at with her recovery with her shoulder. But if I have to pick, I would say more than likely a Judgment Day retaining just to be safe. That's my safe pick.
I feel like this is a lot easier for me than maybe it is for you, Nick. I'm picking Judgment Day, 1,000%. I did check out how long Liv Morgan's out. She's supposed to be out 3 to 4 months, and it's probably been about a month, maybe a month and a half, I think, if that, since she's been out from dislocated shoulder. So I don't foresee her coming back this soon from a dislocated shoulder, especially with everything that is involved in a shoulder and the moves that she does. She, needs a good solid shoulder to do what it is that she does. I do see Judgment Day retaining. I see a feud between Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair starting. I think someone's gonna screw up, and the other one is just gonna play the blame game, and we're gonna get that Flair Bliss feud, and then they're gonna continue. I think I personally hope they continue the Roxanne Perez and Dom storyline.
Yes,
because I really want to see Dirty Dom get done dirty as soon as Liv Morgan comes back and catches him and Roxanne doing something they're not supposed to be doing. So then we can see Finn Balor just like all giddy that he messed up Dirty Dom's life. So because that's what's going to happen. So absolutely. I feel like it's an easy one. Judgment Day retains. Feud between Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, which I'm so looking forward to. That's going to be great. Bliss is going to keep trying to convince her that they're really actually friends, but the feud's just going to get bigger and bigger. And I've loved this storyline from the beginning. I've loved Alexa Bliss and Flair together, the friend thing. It's just, I love it. But ultimately, Judgment Day retains. Easy win.
Absolutely. And you could when Liv does come back, like you said, she does Dom dirty as the way, rightfully so. And you got to think when she does come back, going to be a big pop, big reaction. Probably going to come back as a face up until she would, say, okay, Dom, it's okay. Even though she kind of, whenever they first did that, whenever she came back after filming her movie, she was kind of on the fence about it and everything. So they could, like you say, the way they could do it, there's options for both ways that it could go. And Finn Balor being involved in that is phenomenal with his reactions and everything when they're in the clubhouse there. But yeah, Judgment Day retaining. I completely agree. And so far we are 3 for 3 on picks here. So we're tag teaming our picks for the wins and losses, and we'll total them up next week and see how we did on the fallout of SummerSlam. And the next one, which is people might be questioning why this is not the main event. Might be. We don't really know what's going to be officially the main event for tonight. They did say that they did note that Gunther and Punk would be the main event. They called that the main event on the kickoff show yesterday. But when they were going through the matches last night on SmackDown, they mentioned that Sunday's main event for SummerSlam Sunday would be Cody and Cena, rightfully so. But they didn't mention a main event for SummerSlam Saturday. Maybe that's me reading into it too much, but we know how these things go with what Twitter says Triple H does. But the next one is a tag team match: Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, the original Bloodline, teaming up again. Finally, after the last 2 years of up and down, and Uso going on his own against and this is a direct quote from our OTC himself, the Braun Bronze with the dumbass Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed with Paul Heyman, going up against Reigns and Uso. And right out the gate, a tribal yeet. I acknowledge the tribal yeet. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, hands down. Reigns, they get the win. And Roman gets his shoes back, as we saw Bronson Reed steal his shoes. But Reigns and Uso, hands down. That's my pick. Over to you, Yeet.
Oh man, yeah, great. It's going to be a great match. I am so looking forward to this match. Honestly, more than any match on night one's card. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus the Braun Bronze, all big time heavy hitters. We're going to match up again. I think Reigns, Uso win because I think whatever the faction is of the Braun Bronze and Seth Rollins whenever he comes back, and Paul Heyman, whatever faction that is, I think they're going to need to hit a little turmoil, and I feel like they're going to go find another leader somewhere.
Okay.
And then they find that leader, things start looking up, start getting better for them, and then boom, Seth Rollins comes back. And now you've got a whole nother feud and storyline that you can delve into with Seth Rollins coming up to take back his mantle as the leader, whatever the faction is, whatever they want to call it. I do wish they would come up with a name for the faction though.
So I have one. I've been calling it this since they started this one, and they haven't. You're right. They haven't given it a direct name. They haven't given it a direct name. They haven't really, mentioned one thing more than, another thing, but they did say, like, they mentioned it this a couple times, and it was very, very slick how they did it, and very like one off, every other week or so. But they kept saying this is Rollins' vision for the future of the industry, future of this, future of that. This is our vision. This is our So I've just been calling it, yes, the vision. That's what I've been calling it. As I've done articles and tried to stay consistent with it. That's what I've been calling them, and been calling it that since day one for this faction and feud and everything. And I do like where you're going with finding a new leader, because to add, Paul Heyman did try to get Roman to step into that leadership role as Rollins is out on the shelf, which he rightfully declined. Doesn't need that.
Right.
But yeah, so Seth, turmoil with the group. I do like that. I'm going more towards Seth cashing in on night one, which is for the main event, which we'll get to in 2 matches. So you are your pick again, matching up Reigns Uso.
Yeah, Reigns and Uso, and you mentioned Paul Heyman tried to get Roman Reigns to become the new leader. I think that's also even let's be honest. Even if they don't try to find another leader right after this match from losing and having to give up Roman's shoes again, I think just the fact that they went to Roman after Seth was out, is going to spark an absolute fire under the Revolutionaries' ass to come back and show them what's up. So if they do find another leader, it's just going to add that much more, especially if it's someone that Seth doesn't like at all. CM Punk, see if they can convince him to join. But
so that going into, again, the main event, we'll get to it a little bit more for that one. But another leader or somewhat adding someone to the group that I've been thinking is he's involved in this next match, which is Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross 3. This is a trilogy, and it does have a stipulation. The stipulation that they used is kind of stupid, pointless, and questionable, just like their entire feud has been, from weeks and months of Kross dressing like individuals and trying to get in their head, and then seeing them go and do their thing. He did it with AJ Styles. They had a match or two, whatever it was. He did it with a couple others. The New Day, this, that. They kind of dug and took their time turning them heel. Karrion Kross, though, it didn't work with Sami Zayn. And the stipulation for this match, regular singles match, but if Kross wins, Zayn has to say the words, "Kross was right." And if Zayn wins, Kross must say, "I was wrong" about Zayn. So kind of a weird stipulation. It kind of goes towards the chatter of Kross and Scarlett have not been offered new contracts for WWE, and this could be his farewell match. And if he has to say that I was wrong, he's going to go away, and then we're not going to see him, and that's just going to be it. That's how he exits, kind of like what they did with Ricochet, where they put him through the windshield and then just said that he was out indefinitely. But they said the same thing about Sami Zayn 2 weeks ago, and then he came back with a busted rib and took another lead pipe to it. So Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross. Of course, Kross wins. Sami has to say he was right. If Zayn wins, Kross says he was wrong. This one is tough for me. I'm not too sure. Bye, love you. I don't know. I'm picking Sami Zayn with as the safety net because we don't know about Karrion Kross's contract status. Could have been offered. They could be playing into it. But I think Sami Zayn gets the big win. I'm hoping Kross wins and does re-sign because he has grown on me. But my safe pick is Sami Zayn just because of the history of how Kross has been treated, and probably maybe isn't going to re-sign even if they do offer him something. So Sami Zayn wins and Kross admits that he was wrong for me.
All right. Well, here we go. Here's the tiebreaker. I'm going Karrion Kross. I think, contracts aside, I think Kross wins. And even if Kross doesn't sign, I think it would be an absolute masterpiece, perfect setup for heel Sami Zayn, bad guy Sami Zayn. We need a bad guy Sami Zayn. I am over the narrative that he's the underdog and he's got all the courage and he fights from the bottom up to get everything that he's got. And they've been running that with Sami for 2 years now?
Mm-hmm.
Every single match, he's the underdog and he's going to, dig down deep from the gut up and, he's going to work hard and, it's just, I'm over the same storyline for him. I want Karrion Kross to win. I think he wins regardless of contracts. If he doesn't sign, he fades off into oblivion because we've got heel Sami Zayn, which is going to be absolute fire with some other heels that we may be talking about later. But I want heel Sami Zayn so bad. It's time for him to change it up. Gimmick's old.
Yes.
Be a bad guy.
Yes,
be your
absolutely.
true nature.
Absolutely. Martina and I talked about this as well. In Sami Zayn, it was both of these guys that I was thinking could be the next ones to join Rollins' group. So cross join, and kind of sit back for a little bit, and then, like you said, the turmoil starts, and then boom, he snakes his way to take over. Sami Zayn, they offered him a chance to join, he said no, and now he loses again, and he's tired of it, and then we see him with Paul, and then he goes and does it. And that could, maybe not go down the turmoil route, but still add Sami Zayn. Add Sami Zayn to the group, and it gives them then 4, and they only need 1 more for War Games, because we know that they're probably going Seth and his group against Roman and his group for War Games, or they could do Solo and his group against Roman and his group. So there's kind of 3 variables for War Games, and I know that's 3 months away. In November for Survivor Series, but that's how, obviously, that's how they think about it with what we've seen with Unreal on Netflix. So that's kind of immediately what I go to, and that's my vision, pun intended. Yeah, like you said, Sami Zayn could go off, turn heel, and go off and join other heels that we'll get to momentarily. So that is definitely our tiebreaker. So Sami Zayn for me. I do love it. Do definitely love it, and that would be pretty cool, pretty classy of them if he is moving on, to still give him a win on the biggest show, and then have that be the catapult that sends Zayn into the character change up. And then that be that for Cross and WWE, but start something new with Sami Zayn. Just like, hopefully, we are starting something new after tonight with the main event, according to Wikipedia, World Heavyweight Championship, Gunther versus CM Punk. We are hours away from the Summer of Punk 2, but as we've talked about Rollins, he has stated multiple times, too many times for me, as long as he has air in his lungs, CM Punk will not be world champion, over and over and over and over and over again. And I think Rollins comes back in the main event and cashes in on Punk, Heist of the Century Part 2, but he waits until Punk wins the title and then cashes in. He doesn't come in during the match and make it a triple threat. He waits for Punk to win, and then he cashes in. And then, of course, you catapult and do Punk and Rollins again, and you do that. You could also have that mixed in, and Punk, Roman, and the fill in the blank against Rollins and his guys again down the line. My Punk wins, and it goes longer than Drew's title run, but Rollins comes in and cashes in.
What an interesting aspect you bring up with Seth Rollins. Yes, he has said, as long as there is breath in my lungs, CM Punk will not be world champion. And I do think he'll stick to that. I do not think he'll let CM Punk win, though, because if he wins, even if it's for 2 minutes, guess what? CM Punk is always going to hold that over his head. You still let me be world champion. You couldn't fulfill your promise. I think, and call me crazy, I think what happens, I think Seth Rollins comes in, cashes in to make it a triple threat match, takes out Punk, and then throws Gunther on top of him and walks away. Because I don't think he'll be fully healed, right, from whatever injury he has. I do think he has a legit injury. So I don't think he'd be able to hold a title run or, run that title run. I think he comes in, makes it a triple threat, uses whatever he can, beat the heck out of CM Punk, throws Gunther on top, walks out. Gunther retains. CM Punk doesn't win the title. Seth Rollins keeps his promise. And then he goes and rehabs. Whatever is wrong with his knee, he goes and rehabs. We got the Bronze that lost. And in the meantime, you get that they try to find another leader to help them out. And that continues that feud. And really everyone's happy. And it's a huge pop on top of that. If Seth Rollins came out, took out Punk, and then threw Gunther on top, that's material for WrestleMania. So
yeah.
I'm thinking Gunther wins, Rollins cashes in because he can't have a long title run, takes out Punk, throws Gunther on top of him.
I do like that. I do like that. And it would play brilliantly in just the mind games with Rollins and Punk that he cares more about. That also would kind of diminish the title because Rollins cares more about making sure Punk isn't champion than actually being champion. So he not really wastes the Money in the Bank, but he goes into it and cashes in with the sole intent to make sure Punk doesn't win versus also doing that, but also winning the title. Because then you could have Gunther kind of go away and then come back and reinvent himself because he's getting stale as well. But it would also take out, depending on the severity of Rollins' injury, which they could be telling the truth. They could be playing us. We won't ever know. But that could be a way to avoid the chatter of why are they just holding the Money in the Bank briefcase when Rollins is out? We know he's out. We know he's injured, but they're wasting it. And even though they've already stated he has a whole year before he has to cash in.
Right.
So depending on the severity of his injury, if it is a work, and he does show up, it would be a swerve, a giant swerve, should they have him come back, cash in, and lose, and then go after Punk again, and they build that up again, and then Gunther retains and continues his second reign as champion, because I do have some stats on this one as well. I mentioned Stratton and her defenses with only 7 since January. Gunther is in his second reign as World Heavyweight Champion, and he 50-ish days has only defended it 6 times, and 4 of those matches were recent on a Super Show in Mexico. And for anyone that doesn't know what Super Show is, that's just like a string of house events or live events that they do non-televised. So he beat Penta in Mexico all 4 times for the World Heavyweight Championship. He, of course, beat Goldberg at Saturday night's main event. And then right after he won the title from Jay in Phoenix or in Scottsdale, in Arizona on Raw, he faced Jey Uso again at a dark match at SmackDown in Nashville, which was Extreme Rules. So he 50-something-ish days, his second run, and he's only defended it 6 times. Tonight will be the 7th, and the first on PLE technically, since Saturday night's main event is not a PLE. It is televised, but this will be the first PLE defense for his second reign. And I'm not a Gunther fan. I don't get it. Zero aura, zero charisma from him. He's fantastic in the ring, but on the mic and just presentation wise, I'm old. It's old. I'm over it. I'm tired of it. Gotta switch it up. Gotta get over this whole ring general thing. And plus, I want to see Summer of Punk too. which we could also then get, again, if Punk wins, we could get Cena versus Punk, champion versus champion. Um, and that would be phenomenal to do that one more time at Crown Jewel. And they could get away with it by saying it's just an exhibition. It's not an actual match that means anything, since they did bill the last time as Punk Cena for the final time or whatever. But that would be definitely be a way to end night one. As we go into night two, we do have Cargill, RK Roll, Judgment Day, Reigns Uso. We defer in Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross, and then of course Punk and Gunther with successful cash in with a non unsuccessful cash in. So we'll keep track of that. That's night one for SummerSlam, and we go on to night two tomorrow night. SummerSlam both nights starting at 6 o'clock, with the pre-show starting in about an hour and a half at 3 o'clock. And then of course we have the countdown or the post show, afterwards, and to talk about that even more. And then we'll be live again next Saturday. We're gonna shoot for noon. I don't have to work next Saturday, so I'll be right on time, and we won't get started late. But we go to Sunday night, tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. Of course, Peacock, Netflix internationally. We have triple threat for the Women's World Championship: Naomi, Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky. This is Naomi's first defense. There's no way they built her up, give her money in the bank, cash in the way that they did, and they have her lose. Who she pins, since it's a triple threat. I see them having her pin Io Sky, just because Rhea Ripley is kind of on the protected side of the talent, and I could see her and Rhea continuing the feud, and you could drop Io Sky back into with damage control. But I have triple threat women's world championship, Naomi pinning Io Sky.
Oh man, I've gone back and forth on this so much because really anybody could win, and there's always that threat that Jade comes out and takes Naomi out, to make her suffer for what she did to her and Bianca with the tag titles and lying and, like Martinez said, proceed with caution, but we know Jade doesn't do that. And I could see her, I could absolutely 1,000% see her coming out to ruin things for Naomi, just like she ruined her title run with the tag titles. But at the same time, it is also her first title defense.
Mm-hmm.
She does have a major disadvantage between Rhea and Io. I'm gonna go against my gut instinct, and I'm gonna say Naomi loses. Jade comes out and ruins it, because that feud. Let's be honest, that feud really hasn't stopped. That feud is still, it's on simmer mode right now, and could easily turn the gas up at any point in time. I think Jade comes out, ruins things for Naomi, and I think I'm going to go with the protected one. I think Rhea is going to take it over Io Sky.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go Rhea. This is a tough one. It could really go any way because they're all great competitors. But I love the Jade come out, take out Naomi, tell her to proceed with caution next time. Get revenge for losing the tag titles way back when, and I think Rhea, in a great match, pins Io for the title.
Okay, so Rhea finally gets one over on Io. And it is a triple threat, so there is no disqualifications. So an interference wouldn't automatically stop the match and give the title back to Naomi. So
Right.
very well could happen. I mean, it would be a way to it would be interesting to go that route. And I know if Martina is still watching or listening, since they did leave, if she is listening while driving, I know she is not. She is in the car saying no yeet, no yeet to that. Doesn't want to see Naomi lose on her first defense, and I don't either. So I'm feeling the glow and proceeding with caution. And I would say for you to proceed with caution, with the words here that have been spoken. But Rhea finally getting one over on Io Sky. As we know, Rhea's never beaten Io Sky. That would be a moment, and also be a moment for Jade and Naomi. That could then send Naomi back to SmackDown and feud with Jade, as she, at that point she would be champion. Um, and then you could have Bianca turn on Jade for going after Naomi, and then when she comes back, and then you could of course do Naomi and Bianca going after Jade, and then maybe that could lead to them finally calling up someone like Lash Legend or Jada Parker,
Right.
and having the four of them intertwined on SmackDown there. Just different ways to that this could go.
Yeah.
Phenomenal,
It
John.
just
That speak of the devil.
there it is.
Josh,
There it is.
don't speak that evil over us for Jade to come out and interfere and cause Naomi to drop it on her first defense. Now that while that would still keep the whole thing of the women's Money in the Bank has a 100% successful cash in rate, that would be insane to have her cash in and then lose it before her second defense or whatever, and playing hot potato with the title, as we know that um, if you either like that or you don't. But I see where you're going with it, and different storylines that could be presented from that moment, and it would be quite the moment. um,
Yeah,
just
for
like
sure.
just like we I know we're going to get moments with another stipulation match, and another title match. So this is another fun fact about SummerSlam this year. All 7 or 6 matches on WrestleMania on SummerSlam Sunday are all championship matches. They're all championship matches. So all gold is on the line on Sunday. We have the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Much like Jade and Naomi, their feud that's been ongoing but stopping and starting and going and pausing and playing and personal as personal can get. We have a no disqualification, no count out, last chance match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. So that means if Lynch wins, Valkyria cannot challenge Becky for the title as long as she's champion. And then, of course, I'm assuming vice versa. If Lyra wins, Becky cannot challenge her for the title for as long as she would remain champion. Lyra, of course, won the title back in January and was the first women's intercontinental champion. She had a couple matches with Dakota Kai before her release. Maybe with Ivy Nile, I think maybe one or two. Then of course, then with Becky and Bailey has been intertwined in there. So Becky has kind of been bumping up the prestige of the women's intercontinental championship. But Lyra has been doing fantastic, and has been great to see her paired with Becky, as the history behind them, behind the two of them. We don't have to go into it because it's right there in front of us. Mentor, mentee, and turning and everything. Becky retains and continues to elevate the title, and we get Bailey interfering, and Becky and Bailey go into the next feud for that Intercontinental title, with ultimately Bailey winning the title from Becky.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page. I think this is an easy one to call. I think Becky wins, Lyra loses, Bailey comes out, because we know they've got that feud going. It would be a complete waste of when Lyra Valkyria screwed up Bailey's match against Becky just a few weeks ago, and I think Bailey's got to get her revenge, and with Lyra Valkyria out of the way, because I did look it up. It looks like it's just Lyra that can't challenge Becky for the title versus it being both ways. So if I'm Bailey, it's easy for me. Make sure Lyra loses, right? She's instantly out of the picture for the IC title. Okay. And then you go after Becky. You win the title. Boom. Now we get the feud with Lyra and Bailey, which is going to be absolutely fire, especially with how she's handled the storyline with Becky and her improvement on her promos and her mic skills. And, she's always been a great wrestler. Absolutely phenomenal. I love watching her in the ring. And then, of course, Bailey's just a vet. She's a great vet. So, and then I think Becky takes a short break, right? Because we know she's not 365 days. She's not the women's John Cena anymore, right? So, I think Bailey comes out, screws Lyra, then wins the title from Becky. Becky takes a break, and then we get that feud that's been slowly building up back and forth between Bailey and Lyra, and it just, escalates, and it's going to be an absolute phenomenal feud. So super simple one to call for me.
Yeah. That is 1000% the way that I see it going too. And it lays down the foundation for everything to work perfectly, exactly the way we both just laid it out. Becky goes back to filming whatever it is she's filming next. Star Trek or whatever next Netflix movie is going to want her. Like you said, she's definitely not full time anymore. Bailey is stepping into that veteran role of they're kind of doing her like they did bum ass Corbin a couple of years ago, where she's just down on her luck and she's speechless and doesn't have anything else to say, which is unusual for her, of course. But is stepping into that role of being the one to take someone like Lyra under her wing while Becky was away, and then elevate and do the feud and see if they can go. Kind of like, in a way, Charlotte with Tiffany. I know it was kind of a letdown. The match itself was fantastic and played out well, but the build to it was just not it, and they should have done a better job with that one in really saying how much of a dream match it was. But it kind of they were blurring the lines with like personal and professional, and the whole Tiffany saying something about her divorce record um wasn't wasn't written, and it was something that she just did offhand. So everything is playing, and hopefully it's all for the better of the women's Intercontinental Championship, which can finally get some prestige, unlike the women's United States Championship, which Julia finally defended after beating Zelina Vega back for the title back on June 27th. And that is a whole nother story. Of course, we can get into that weekly as we review Raw, SmackDown, and then any other PLEs. And that is a fantastic segue, if I do say so myself, from the women's U.S. Championship to the men's U.S. Championship that has no problem being. Oh, wait, it does. Solo Sikoa, United States Champion, beat Jacob Fatu a couple weeks ago, or a month ago now, whatever, and then beat Jimmy Uso at Saturday night's main event. He is stepping back up against Jacob Fatu, and they're stepping into a steel cage for the United States Championship. I would love, love, love to see Jacob Fatu win the title back. But I don't think, I'm not one for a quick title change, a hot potato with the title. I'm not for that, and I don't think that the goons that Solo has at his disposal, they're not going to let a little steel cage get in the way of making sure their tribal Timu chief holds on to the gold, and that has to be a way that they tie in the rest of the bloodline to helping Jacob and Jimmy. So I have Solo retaining inside a steel cage.
Yeah, again, it's all championship matches, but at least a couple of these are easy to make predictions on what's going to happen. Solo wins, you know, easy. We're going to have some interference from his goons. I think we're going to get Jimmy and Roman. We may get Jay, not sure, but I think based off of SmackDown, I think we're going to get Jimmy and Roman are going to come in, and I think they're going to get beat down. And I think it's just going to, what's up, Dustin? I think it's going to start the setup and the build to War Games. So, it's just for Jacob Fatu to win and get the title back, it just kind of douses that flame that, you've got the ember right here. Now you can throw a little gas on it and you can build it into a gigantic giant bonfire in time for War Games. And if Jacob Fatu wins, it just puts that ember out, and then you've got to start all over. And so Fatu loses, Solo wins, Roman comes in, Jimmy comes in, Jay might come in. They get beat down one by one, and it just starts the setup for War Games for Survivor Series. So
absolutely, it's they can, and Dustin is of course here in the chat there on Facebook. What's the biggest fight we're looking forward to this weekend? We did go over it, went over it, at least for me. I won't say that because I'm excited for both nights because they did a really good job of splitting up the matches across both nights. I'm pumped for Roman Reigns as we see him in another stadium show. We see him teaming with Jey Uso. I'm excited to see Logan Paul go out there and show out, and hopefully Jelly Roll do well. And I'm excited to see again Punk win a title. And hopefully them do right by Karrion Kross and do something there. But I'm also excited to see what we're going to talk about in a couple matches here with the WWE title, and hopefully a I guess we can't say a double turn since we already got a turn last night on SmackDown, but a turn nonetheless. Yes, Jelly Roll, the singer, is in a tag match with Randy Orton, going against Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre. I should have had the graphics ready to go to put them up on the screen for anyone that doesn't watch wrestling on the daily, but is going to start thanks to us bringing our knowledge and our presence to the already fantastic and stacked Tired Sports Network, with coverage in every other sport you can imagine. Tons of great shows out there, a fantastic lineup with great people, and fantastic shows and everything you can think of. I think I did have the QR code maybe on my phone to throw up there. Everything will be linked below, or I'll go back in and add it, and then next time we'll be prepared and throw the QR code up there that you can of course scan and then go check out everyone across the Tired Sports Network. There, thank you, Dustin, for it is crazy, it's insane. He has been training, that's why and how he's lost all the weight that he has. But we have a couple more matches to talk about, and then of course the main event of SummerSlam Sunday, which I'm also excited for. And yes, let's go Tired Sports Network. Absolutely fantastic. Excited to be here and be a part of it and build it and bring wrestling to eyes that wouldn't normally watch it, as they have with Netflix and what they continue to do with Peacock and USA Network and all that good stuff. And on Netflix, you can find Dominic Mysterio, which he is currently the Intercontinental Champion. He hasn't defended it on TV. I can't even think of the last time that he defended it on TV, if he has at all. Don't know if he's defending it at house shows. So You can say that he is falling into that the heels not defending the title and doing that really well, but he is going up against AJ Styles for the Intercontinental Championship, and I'm not a AJ Styles fan by any means, but he has been stepping in and doing some great work with the comedic relief. And I wouldn't be upset if he wins the title and gets one more run before he eventually hangs it up in the near future. Um, I would love to see Dom win, and I'm going to go with safe pick with the with Dom. Well, I guess I won't say that because I don't want to get on the role of titles not changing hands since we do have all title matches. Um, so I'm going to go AJ Styles winning, and that leading to breaks and Roxanne, as we talked about earlier, Roxanne consoling Dom after he loses, and Dom kind of being like, Finn, where were you guys? Why weren't you out there to help me make sure I win? And then they go down that route. So AJ Styles winning the Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam.
Yeah, same here. AJ Styles wins. It's going to be tough, but the big storyline in Judgment Day is not that they have all the titles or that they have any titles at all, but that Dom has the IC title, and it's his first title in his 20-year career, right?
Second, he won the North American. He won the North American Championship.
Second title.
Second. Third, he's been a tag team champion as well. He was a tag team champion.
Third title.
First singles main roster title.
Right.
If we're going to get specific.
Exactly. So, I think he loses the title to AJ Styles, and perfect opportunity for him to be consoled by the closest female to him right now, since Liv is gone, Roxanne Perez. Okay, and Liv Morgan has never liked her, and then on top of that, she's taken her spot in the tag team championship. I mean, the heat. Dom might not survive. Let's be so for real here. Liv may murder him, and I would, because she's got a little bit of that crazy.
Oh yeah.
I believe.
Oh yeah.
If you did her wrong, you did her dirty, she could murder you. Dom may have, either if he's not murdered, he may have a real injury next time. If she comes back and sees Roxanne consoling, Dirty Dom after losing to AJ Styles, and really it sets up so much, from losing the titles to Liv to Finn Balor, some issues in the Judgment Day, and that whole storyline, when it all blows up, is going to be absolutely phenomenal. So I'm calling AJ Styles because he needs another title run, and we need to plant seeds for Liv Morgan to come back and maim or murder Dirty Dom.
Yes, it would be a phenomenal way to go, having the phenomenal AJ Styles win the Intercontinental Championship. And that me picking him is very last minute. I was thinking of going with Dom, but then I realized that the way I've been picking with champions retaining outside of course, having Punk win with a Rollins cash in, so the title changing hands twice. But we go into the other interesting fact that I had about this year's SummerSlam. We have the 6-pack tables, ladders, and chairs match for the WWE Tag Team Championship. The Wyatt Six, Dexter Lumis, and Joe Gacy, who are the champions, against Andrade and Rey Fenix, a makeshift tag team, against DIY, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, against Fraxium, Axiom, and Nathan Frazier, against Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, against the Street Profits, the former champions, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. This is the first time that we saw a tables, ladders, and chairs match, and I believe the only other time that we saw that at SummerSlam was 25 years ago on August 27th or 28th in 2000, which is insane. But they're tying it all together because we had after the SmackDown after WrestleMania. Of course, these titles weren't on the WrestleMania card, but they had an absolute banger of a ladder match on the SmackDown after WrestleMania. So I can only imagine, and that was only 3 teams. I can only imagine what we're going to see with 6 teams adding in tables and chairs. This one is tough as the Wyatts just won the titles, but I also do like the chemistry of Andrade and Rey Fenix. I do like Fraxium and their chemistry. I think that they're ready for a title. And the other way, DIY is kind of doing their thing as filler talent. They can go in the ring. We know that, but they just don't have the it factor. Same with Motor City Machine Guns. They're about 5'8" between all 4 of them. They just don't have that look that says champion. So I have the Wyatt 6 retaining once again, title retainment. But then you can keep it going with Fraxium being next in line, or even Andrade and Rey Fenix. That would be, I think, great if they were to win. But I got the Wyatt 6 retaining their tag titles.
All right, this is going to go one of 2 ways. It's either going to be an absolutely phenomenal match with all these tag teams in a TLC match, right? It's, I watched 90s WWF at the time, right? I watched the major TLC matches between the Hardys and, Edge and Christian and the Dudleys. So I love a phenomenal, talent stacked TLC match. So it's either going to be really great and coordinated well and, just absolutely over the top and hot from start to finish, or there's going to be too many people. It's going to be too complicated. There's going to be too many spots, and that's a lot to try and put together in a match with 6, not 6 people, 6 tag teams, 12 people, right? So that's a lot of people in one match and in a TLC match, table, ladders, and chairs match. So it's either going to be really amazing or it could be really just, let's just get through this match and move on to the next one. But I do see they're reviving the Wyatt 6 because
yes,
let's be so serial here. They came in hot. It was great. Then it got stagnant, and then it kind of picked back up, and then it didn't go well, and they went away for a while. They came back for Bray Wyatt's birthday, and now they're in the tag team division, and they got the titles, and it just feels like they're trying to revive the Wyatt 6 and fix all the things that went wrong with their initial run in WWE. So I see them retaining. It's going to be the slobber knocker of a match. I hope it goes well. I feel like it's a lot of people. That's a lot of tables, ladders, and chairs you're going to need for that many people, for 12 people, and essentially a no disqualification match with weapons. We'll see how it goes. I'm hoping for the best, but I'm not getting my hopes up just in case it's an atrocious match. So
it couldn't go either way at this point. So we both have the Wyatt 6 retaining for the TLC match. Okay. Hopefully they do a good job of putting it together and the spots, like you said, and having it planned out, and these guys go out there and they hit their spots, they do what they're supposed to, and everyone stays safe, no injuries, and we just and can go out there and we can enjoy it, and it works out much like the ladder match did the SmackDown after WrestleMania there. And here we chiming back in. Controversial opinion: LA Knight doesn't have a match on the card and has time on his hands. He may interfere and keep Rollins from cashing in, making it. I guess you couldn't really. So then, does LA Knight go and join Roman's team for War Games and fill in as he's helping, potentially helping Punk in that sense, since he wouldn't be helping Gunther. I mean, Punk and LA Knight haven't really had that run in yet, but he has made an enemy of Rollins in his group. So him coming out and stopping Rollins I would say, would put him in the favorite to be added to the War Games match and be opposing Rollins. They are not doing a Slim Jim Battle Royal this year at SummerSlam, which is kind of shocking. They only have 6 matches on each night. They could have done a 7th at this point. AEW has no problem doing 7 in 1 hour. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. I see where you're going with it. I would love it if LA Knight would be involved and get himself onto the card. Yeah.
I could see it. Here's how I think it could work, right? Because I don't think CM Punk is going to win the title. I don't think Seth Rollins can have a title run based off the injury. And so Seth Rollins comes out, he cashes in, he takes out Punk because it's a surprise entrance, right? Nobody's expecting Seth Rollins to be there, right? Because he's out for an undisclosed amount of time. I think he takes out Punk. By the time LA Knight is able to, get there, realize Seth is there and get out to the ring, Punk's already out. He takes out Seth Rollins, and Gunther takes advantage of the situation, pins Punk versus just taking out Punk and then walking away. It's a legit oh man, my cash-in got ruined by LA Knight. So probably a more legit way to not waste the cash-in, but
because you could have him go out there and just have the mind games of Rollins out there with the briefcase, and before he cashes in, that's when LA Knight comes out and stops him. So then he still has the briefcase, and they can continue that and not like we said, not have to waste it on the cash in or whatever. I mean, LA Knight, it's crazy that he's not on the card here. It truly is, and I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're waiting for. I mean, maybe, hopefully, allegedly, so to say, with the next match we're going to talk about, the main event of SummerSlam Sunday, which is a street fight for the WWE Championship. John Cena against the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. And this is an interesting one. I mean, what went down last night, we seemingly got Cena turning face, and Cody didn't do it last night, but he's got to do it tomorrow night, or I don't know what we're doing. Street fight, so that means anything goes, no disqualifications, no interference, no this, no that. Cena took shots at The Rock, so is that hinting that The Rock is going to come back and this time help Cody? Is The Rock going to come back and say, you know what, Cena, how dare you speak to me like that, the final boss, and cost Cena the title, or take the title from Cena, since The Rock can do whatever he wants? And then we're going to get Cena and The Rock one more time, and with Cody being champion again, you could do Cody and Roman 3 finally. with Roman then getting the title back, or do they keep shoving the American Nightmare down our throats and making him be the white meat baby face that they think that he is? Um, Cena, my pick for this one, Cody turning heel, but Cena retains. So Cena retains and Cody turns heel.
All right. I've been thinking about this one a lot since SmackDown last night. I do think Cody turns heel. I think he has partnered back up with The Rock behind Cena's back, because let's be honest, Cena and Rock, they've had that major feud before. And as far as WWE is concerned, they're not the greatest of friends. I think Cody partnered with The Rock, the final boss. That's where we're going to get the heel turn. The Rock is going to come out to ensure Cody takes the belt off of Cena. I think we've had a good heel run with Cena. I think this is the absolute perfect time. Seeing it now, I'm glad we didn't get Cody heel turn earlier when Cena turned heel. I think looking back at it now, it really wasn't the right time for that to happen. SummerSlam would be the right time for that to happen. I think Cena loses. We get heel Cody because of The Rock. Rock comes out, Rock bottoms Cena, people's elbow, takes him out. Cody wins. And then afterwards, we see The Rock and Cody Rhodes shake hands. And that's when everyone's like, he sold his soul to The Rock.
Yep. Just like back in January when The Rock came out, and the first thing he did was he acknowledged Cody Rhodes, and they showed that they had the Terramana backstage, and their moms are hanging out now, and that they were cool. And then that's when The Rock wanted his soul, of course. It all bringing it back together. Fantastic, phenomenal. Where you're going with this?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it gets the belt off of Cena before he retires, because he doesn't have that many appearances left, right? We're at this point over halfway through the year. I think he's for sure got less than 20 appearances before the end of the year. Yeah. So it gets the belt off him. We got a good, solid Cena heel run. It was great. Phenomenal promos, great matches. Cody Rhodes wins because of The Rock. They shake hands. And then let's go back to Seth Rollins, right? Hear me out. Seth Rollins comes back after Paul Heyman and the Braun Brawns tried to get Roman Reigns as a leader. He comes back. Obviously, he's going to be a face now, right? Because he's super pissed at Heyman and Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker for trying to replace him with one of his mortal enemies, Roman Reigns. And he comes back as a face to start feuding with Cody Rhodes. Because if Cena loses the title, we can't put it back off of him. Or put it back on him, right?
I agree.
We're not going to have 2 title runs in 1 year and make him an 18-time world champion. So, so heel Cena said he's walking out with it.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
Cena.
Because we've been talking about this. We've been talking about this. It was only a 4-month title reign. He didn't defend it all that much. He had a great feud with Randy Orton. CM Punk had the great match with CM Punk. And now, back to Cody. But you make a great point with him turning face. And he did say last night that he still wanted to he wanted to go home with the title, but it's not because he wants to ruin wrestling. It's because he wants us to remember him. So with him turning face and him saying that, anything. He said it last night too when he turned face, as I just said. I want to take it with me. I want to go home with this, but it's not because I want to ruin wrestling. It's because I want you all to remember me. But it could be just a way for, yeah, I mean, it would be, it would kind of be like a, why they really lean into it. Him saying he was going to leave with the title. Um, who knows how it's going to play out. That's why we have to watch, because we're not as good as we are at this. We're not in the writers' rooms. Even though some stuff that we come up with is we do see it in the rooms there, and it's better than what they actually come up with. But we'll find that out for sure tomorrow night. So you have Cody winning and the heel turn.
And if we're being honest, that could also just be Cena trying to explain why he did what he did with the fans and everything, as like, I want to walk out with this, but it's because I don't want you guys to forget me. And, that could just be his justification. It doesn't mean he's going to necessarily walk out with it, but, I think it's more of a justification that Cena's explaining to the fan base as why he did what he did. So, all right. Yeah, I do definitely think Cody should turn heel. I've been waiting on a Cody heel turn for absolutely forever. So I think we all have, because I think a heel Cody Rhodes is just absolutely going to be phenomenal. It's a great storyline, and it's like I said, I think it's building up to he's turning heel. Seth is coming back. He's going to end that, faction, or his association with the faction with the Braun Browns and Paul Heyman, and he's going to become a face again. And he's going to be like, hey, Cody, like, what are you doing? He's going to do what Cody Rhodes was doing to John Cena. Like, this isn't you. He's going to take, you don't deserve the title anymore. Like, you're not the same person that you were at WrestleMania with that, I helped to capture the title from Roman Reigns, from that evil empire of the bloodline. So, I think, we've questioned this all year, right? We've questioned this all
absolutely.
year. What's Triple H doing? What is going on? Like, this could be so much better. And I feel like it's here at SummerSlam, everything's finally starting to, everything that he's been working on and building the last 5 or 6 months since SummerSlam, or since WrestleMania, is just finally coming to fruition. And it's just crazy to me to think at all the intricacies and how far down the line Triple H has probably actually been looking at these storylines, and it's really starting to come together here at SummerSlam. I think really we've tied in so many matches to other matches and storylines, and the end of the year, I think it's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, so they're hitting their stride with the build to SummerSlam and post SummerSlam, the build towards Clash in Paris. As we know, Stephanie Vicaire is the next challenger for the Women's World Championship. I think that's the only match that we have. I'm pretty sure that's the only match that we have for that one, which is kind of insane. They are doing a lot of quick builds for these PLEs. We have, of course, Heat Wave coming up on August 24th. That's NXT. That's in Lowell, Massachusetts. Does Cena go and make an appearance and dive down to NXT after he loses the title? And do something like that. NXT has been doing their thing. It's going to be a great SummerSlam, and then into the end of the summer, into the fall, of course. And I am looking at the Clash in Paris poster, and Cody Rhodes is on top. Gunther is there, Tiffany Stratton, Cena, Rollins, Punk. Don't know when this was updated with Rollins being injured. And then, of course, we go into Crown Jewel. That is in Perth. That is in October. So we and it looks like, again, this is according to Wikipedia. So I don't know. I don't know if this is official. I don't know who updates this, but Crown Jewel, the two matches on the card are, like I said before, the WWE Crown Jewel Championship, Raw World Heavyweight Champion versus SmackDown WWE Champion. Same thing with the women's side for the Women's Crown Jewel Championship. So they will probably start to be promoting that soon with of course, the big giant rings that they get like they got last year. I thought that they were only going to be doing that in Saudi Arabia, but we saw that they did King Queen of the Ring at Saudi Arabia. So, but Clash in Paris, that's what I was checking on, and then I just went right on by it. That is the only match on the card: Naomi versus Stephanie Vicaire for the Women's World Championship. Of course, card subject to change. Not only if Naomi were to lose, that would update, but pending any other circumstances of needing to change it. But it's going to be a great end of the year, final 4 months of the year, and 4 months of John Cena's career, and the first 4 months of Cody Rhodes' heel turn. That was a fantastic show. We have about 58 minutes until SummerSlam actually starts, and with the pre-show. And then, of course, we go into the weekend that is the hottest party in the summer. And guys, I mean, holding it down here. Only wrestling show on the Tired Sports Network, and we've always been a great duo. So, pumped that we get to do this again, Josh. And I
For
will
sure.
see you next week. Once again, let everyone know where they can find you, and then we will wrap it up, cue the outro, and get ready for night one of SummerSlam from MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, and just enjoy the weekend of lots and lots of wrestling.
Yeah, you can find me, Lace 'em Up Sports Media. I'm on Instagram, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook. I'm pretty much everywhere that you can think of. So Lace 'em Up Sports Media. I'm on TikTok as well, so go follow me on that as well. The big four. And yeah, I'm super stoked to be back. It was great to get back into a wrestling show. And thanks, Martina. We do work really well together. So super excited for next week to catch up after SummerSlam and Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. So
absolutely, the fallout is going to be phenomenal, and kicking this thing off in the summer, perfect time with SummerSlam and partnering with Tired Sports, and of course me, Sleeper Sports Media, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Patreon. At nodirtsheets.com for full-length articles. Patreon is a way to subscribe to get extra and also support by, of course, $5, and then Facebook subscription as well for $2.99. But Sleeper Sports Media or Nick Witosh anywhere on any platform there: TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, all the above. And that is going to do it for Saturday SmackTalk episode 1. August 2nd, 2025, the SummerSlam preview. Both nights, first ever 2-night SummerSlam, second biggest PLE of the year. And that is going to do it. And now, nothing left to do but hit the outro and jump on the couch, get it ready, fire up Peacock, and count down until we have what is going to be, no doubt, a phenomenal weekend. Proceed with caution, stay safe, and Tired Sports Network, of course, go and give them some love. Lace 'em Up Sports Media, Josh Frazier, Nick Witosh of No Dirt Sheets, and Sleeper Sports Media, of course, presented by Tired Sports Network. We're out. Saturday Smack Talk next week on Saturday. So it's Saturday, and you know what that means, and we are out of here.